you guys don't mind, part of the district. You had mentioned before about C-Tran. A lot of talk about the new influx of people into the district were sent by Atlanta, and C-Tran being wiped out. Am I right? Yes, on. What would you guys do as the representative of this district to bring back C-Tran or do something to put back in transportation? Because for some of the poor residents, that has been almost a non-starter. Mr. Copeland. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Maple.
All right. First of all, we gotta, work with the Clayton County Board of Commissioners and, get funding down there and see what it's going to take to get C-Tran up and running right away. I mean, that's a key aspect. We just gotta, get with them and say, hey, we gotta work this out. Clayton County is suffering big time from that, and that's one reason that I'm hearing a lot of people when I'm knocking on doors and going out in the field that people are saying, hey, the T-Spots, I'm for it because we're getting C-Tran back, and so people really appreciate that service when they have it, and now it's gone. They've said, hey, we want it back. So that's our job to be the voice of the people.
So you are for the T-Spots?
Well, that's another question you said, but reluctant, yes. And why I say because I don't think they allocated the money in the projects properly. Everyone knows we have a transportation issue that needs to be solved. When you sit in traffic and it's going to hinder businesses coming. It's a good idea, don't get me wrong, and we need to, do something. And so all intentions are great, but how they allocated money, and especially with South Fulton already paying for Grady, they already paid for MARTA, now they got to pay for this. And so people in South Fulton are like, what are we getting out of this deal? You all just keep coming at us. And so I understand that frustration. And then you got the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce for businesses, and they're saying, hey, we're for the T-Spots. So it's mixed, mixed feelings throughout, and so I would say it would be a reluctant yes.
So,
with the T-Spots.
Right, I know. So an addendum to the first question, who would be, you answered already, could you guys add your answer, what are you for or against the T-Splosh and why? And the first question still stands. Mrs. Pritchett.
I am absolutely for the T-Splosh. The reason why is because in relation to Clayton County and the C-Tran, the Board of Commissioners, well, they had the C-Tran before, it seemed to have worked, but for different reasons it was abolished, and now they're trying to bring it back. But this time, the board, from what I have seen, is they have a definitive plan. They have a very good and well-structured plan. And what the T-Splosh will do is it will provide to each county that's involved in the T-Splosh, they will get 15% of the revenues on that tax, that 1% sales tax. Now, what's advantageous to Clayton County is that now you have the airport is located in Clayton, Fulton, and you have that area, all those people that travel in from all over the country. This is the busiest airport in the nation. All that tax revenue coming into the airport, paying into this. So it's not just a burden that just Fulton County will have. In addition, Fulton County, the commissioners there are actually for the T-Splosh because that 50% that they will receive, they won't have to come out of their budgets for improvements for roads. So this will also make sure that for 10 years at least, we won't have to have additional monies for transportation issues at least for 10 years. So I'm absolutely for it.
Okay.
I'm absolutely for T-Splosh. we have to do something to fix this transportation system we have here in the state of Georgia. There are three components that corporations look at whenever they're deciding to move to a state to set up shop and create jobs: transportation, education, and tax incentives. And our transportation system that we have here is horrendous. Every time I go to New York, every time I go to Chicago, any of the major cities, I'm so envious of the system that they have. You can get anywhere, you can go anywhere with public transportation. And I come back to Atlanta and I'm just like, how in the world are we a major city and we don't have what they have in some of the other smaller cities or the huge cities as well? And we have to do any and everything we can do to better our transportation system in the state of Georgia. And if that means voting for the T-Splosh, yes, because I do feel like that's going to help our transportation system.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, and the reluctant, they are hard, yes, and I'm for it, but what we just left out, and I guess that's the attorney aspect of me, we have constituents in Fulton County, so let's distinguish, these answers, they're hard. But I just can't leave out my constituents from Fulton County just because Fayette and because Clayton wanted. So I hear the voices of Fulton, and they're already paying. And therefore, the people in Fulton County, they're in traffic too. But what they're saying is, people, we take care of Grady Hospital, and that's everyone from the state benefits this. From that, and then we also, take care of other taxes. He was like, Marta, when is you all gonna stop taxing us? And if you do, let's get these resources. So in this, if you're saying, hey, we're gonna tax you all on this, well, we're gonna allocate more money to South Fulton. We're gonna allocate more projects down here. We're gonna do more improvements because we all see the improvements up in North Fulton. And there's a big difference. We'll call it, I'm not blind, so there's a big difference. So that's their issue, saying, okay, that's fine, but when are we gonna get something? When are you all gonna just stop putting everything on us and just saying, okay, bye, we throw you that and that's it. So I'm gonna stand up and fight for my people in Fulton County.
Right. Okay. I'd like to point out to what Mr. Copeland spoke about, going to New York, even in DC, they have fabulous systems. But the difference is Georgia is one of about 4 states whose transportation system is funded by tax dollars and the people. All of this is on the weight and shoulders of the people, whereas New York has a private transportation system, so does DC, so does Chicago. So I just wanted to point that out. That's the difference here that we have here. So at some point we have to get fiscally healthy enough for it to be a private system. But additionally, this is an opportunity that if we do not go for it, it may not be an opportunity that presents itself again. Now, the federal government has, if this passes, we will be considered having a regional transportation plan. And in that, there are federal dollars that will match us. And this federal assistance will actually help us to grow to that fiscal health that I'm speaking of. So I just personally feel that we just cannot ignore the opportunity to become a regional system and receive this federal funding that will really help us.
Okay. I would like to extend that question a little bit, if you guys don't mind. All of you not being former politicians and not been in this process before, which is wonderful. What do you say about the, I would say, quote-unquote, unholy alliance behind the T-Splosh? You have Democrats who are for it, you have Republicans who are for it, you have business who's for it, you have nonprofit groups who are for it, you have developers who are for it. I mean, this group of people that normally do not come together are all for one thing. As a voter, just as a normal voter, a human being, a guy that just pulls a lever and follows the issues, I have to be a little concerned about that unholy alliance because it doesn't seem normal to me because it doesn't always come together. That being said, are you guys concerned at all when you say you vote for it about the grouping of people that have come together for this one issue, where they have never come together before? Mr. Cole.
I mean, just as you said, it's a grouping of unlikely people coming together for what I deem to be a good issue, a good cause. And that may, when you stand back and you look at those different entities that came together, that, to me that says that this is a good initiative. You have organizations that don't agree all the time, and I'm sure you all gotten the questionnaires, and we've been asked, how do we feel, how do we feel, and to see that those organizations on paper come together, different chambers of commerce, to see them come together and push for that initiative, I think that really says something about the T-Splosh.
Mr. Pritchard.
I also feel that it's a good initiative, and it's kind of basically sad to say when it comes to money, sometimes people can agree. So I do think that although there is the partisan issue of the power struggle, we all recognize that we have issues financially in Georgia. So I am glad that at least everyone's come together to put those aside and put the well-being of the transportation system and these fiscal responsibilities in Georgia.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, it does cause a little concern when you see those type of entities come together. It's good, but I always like to research and dig deep. It's like, okay, why did all of a sudden they came together on this? one, it's a lot of money involved. So we say, okay, well, where's the money going? And so you see these people that came together, you say, well, Mighty Funny is going to a lot of those people that just came together. So they brought me in, I probably would come together with them too, you know, at the end of the day. So, but I have a district to represent. All I'm saying, it's a great idea, but hey, don't forget